Well, hello there, my fabulous guys and gals of crochet. This is Lynn. Welcome to Curiosity Crochet. Today, we're going to do this feather stitch hat. This was pretty popular on Facebook too, so I wanted to make sure I get this out there. I know there's people waiting to see this. I'm using, which is what I used for that one, Red Heart Unforgettable. It is a 4-weight, but it's a roving yarn, so it does get pretty thin in spots. And the reason I mention that is because it does recommend a 6mm, but I'm going to use 4.5 for the brim, a 5 for the most of the top part, and then we're going to go back down to 4.5 to bring that top part back in. There's 270 yards, which is more than enough. Now you can probably use any yarn. I would just make sure, the only reason I'm using smaller hooks is because, like I said, this gets pretty thin and this is a denser stitch. So it kind of works well together. So if you're going to use a different kind of yarn, like I wouldn't use chunky on this one. I would use a 3 or a 4. And if you use the same as me, use the 4.5 and 5. If you use a regular 4-weight, I would probably stick to the 4.5 or 5. And 3-weight, same thing. Probably 3, 4. Actually, because this is a lot of this is 3-weight, so it would still be 4.5 and 5. Because if you notice on this hat, it bows out right here when we start it, and it comes out, and then we come back in. That's why we'd use the 5 here, and then we bring it back down to 4.5 to do this top part. Now, I made this one a little small. This is more of a child size. We're going to do it a little bit bigger. You're welcome to do it the same size if you want. It's just that for an adult, the way you have to wear this kind of hat, it doesn't go down on your ears. It sits at the top of your ears. So it looks kind of silly, but it's up to you. It's your hat. We're going to make the brim first. I already have my brim made, but so I'm going to show you how I did it with a little bit different yarn for right now, just to show you how it's made, and I'll get you going on that. Oh, and the name of the color I'm using for this one is called Gotham. You want to know why I picked that one? Because I am Batman. Just kidding. So like I said, we'll actually jump right into showing you how to do the brim so that you guys can get going. And then I'll explain the whole thing as we go. This is a pretty simple brim. As long as you know single crochet, you've got this, no problem. So we're going to start with a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Once you have your 11 chains, we're going to skip this first chain here, and in the second chain, we're going to put a single crochet. And now we're just going to single crochet all the way down. Until we get down to the end here. Now this is just the base. This is what we're starting with. And then this following row that we're about to start will be your repeat until we get to where we need to be. So once you get to the end here, we're gonna chain 1 and turn. Now let's focus. This very first stitch. Now this is what we're going to do. The first and the last stitch, we're going to go through both loops, meaning that we're going to go in through both those loops like a normal single crochet. Now the stitches in the middle, we're going to use the back loop only, back here, if I could get my hook in, back here. So there's 2 loops. If you look at it, there's 2 loops. Here's your front up here of the V, and then you have this back loop. So we're going to use those back loops to give it a little ridging, and it makes it nice and stretchy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these back loops in the middle of the first and last stitch. So basically, you'll do both loops, you'll do 8 back loops, and then you'll do both loops again. So you should always have 10 stitches going back and forth, 10 single crochets. See, and then we're going to go through both loops. Don't miss that last stitch. I always tell everybody it's probably a good idea to count while you're going to begin with, because it's easy to lose stitches on these. It's real easy. My yarn's all tangled up. Sorry, guys. So let's go over that one more time. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then you're going to go in both loops for that first one, and then do 8 back loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's our 10th stitch that we're going to go through both. See, and then it starts to give you a little bit of ridging, and it's nice and pretty, and it gives you good stretch. You'll see. So that's what you're going to repeat back and forth, back and forth. Now, rule of thumb is usually about 20 inches. The thing with this yarn, if you're going to use Unforgettable, it's real stretchy. So I did 96 rows, which seems like a lot and it seems overwhelming, but they're only rows of 10 stitches. So it goes lickety split. Like, I made this in about a half an hour just because I kept getting distracted. Like, you could probably get it done real quick. But like I said, it is super stretchy. So this right here looks short, but it goes around with a little bit of extra too. So you just have to make sure you have multiples of 4 for the feather stitch that we're going to do on the top. So no matter what yarn you're using or hook or whatever, just make sure it's a multiple of 4. That way we can work up the stitch together real nice and easy. My dogs are about to start barking, so I'm going to leave you right there, and we'll meet back up and I'll show you how to connect it, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that you have your band done, and I have my band done, make sure they're multiples of 4, remember. We are going to attach this. I'm going to show you how I do it. I take my hook out, and see how it's on the right side? Leave it there and pull this side up to it. Okay? And we are going to find that first stitch on this side, and we're going to go through it. And then we are going to grab this loop, pull it tight, and we are going to pull it through that first one, and then you're going to chain 1. Now we're going to go through this first chain and this first chain, pull it through, and do a slip stitch. Well, at least try to. And then we are going to do that all the way across. So you should have 10 slip stitches at the end of this. Sorry if there's a lot of noise. I I've decided to do this in my kitchen, and we have a small house, but big love. So as long as it doesn't bother you guys, it doesn't bother me. I have 2 big dogs. They're going to make noise no matter what. I have a 16-year-old son who is homeschooled, so he's always here with me. And I have a husband who works nights, so I kind of have to do things around his schedule too, because he's going to be getting up here soon. And I somehow have, I'm just going to go back here. I must have started one too early. It's all right. That's a happy little mistake. We're going to put that there, and it's going to be our little secret. I'm the Bob Ross of crochet. But anyways, so there we go, and we are going to flip that inside out. And you see that? It looks like it goes all together. Look at, nice and easy. Now, it is time to start the main event. We are going to change hooks right here. We're going to go to our 5mm. And I will be right back. Okay, we are back, and we are going to start the pattern of the hat. So what we're going to do to start is we are going to chain 2. And now the first row, super easy. We're just going to do half double crochets all the way around. Now what you want to do is for every row that you made, you're going to make a half double crochet. So like, here's the first row right here. You can see that that's the last row here that we connected to the row over here. So you want to go into the top of that. So you yarn over, go in the top of that, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 of those loops. Now the next row is here. This little small space right here is the next row. Not here, because this is the next one. So you want to get in here. That's where you want to go next. That'll keep you on track with the rows. So you do your half double crochet. Now you go into this next big spot. That's where your next one is. I like to count as I go around to make sure I have the right number, especially when you have to have specific multiples. So I said I made 96, so I should have 96 half double crochets at the end of this. Whatever you did is what you should have at the end of this row. So go ahead and put your half double crochets in at the top of each row, and I'll meet back up with you and we'll go from there. Okay, I've got my 96 that came all the way around, and we are going to, don't worry about that chain 3, it's just a builder. We are going to slip stitch right into the top of that first half double and close it off. I did not get into the stitch. Pay no attention to the newbie. Jeez. There we go. So that first half double crochet, that's where you want to be. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is just a builder. It's just something to build on. And actually, we're only going to chain 2. Holy moly. Chain 2. And we're going to half double crochet right into that same stitch. Now you're going to chain 1. You're going to skip 1. You're going to half double crochet into the following one. And I had to change hooks, y'all, because that other one just kept getting stuck on this yarn. Chain 1, skip 1, half double into the next. I know you're all thinking, when is the exciting stuff going to come in? Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Now you're going to skip one, half double crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, half double crochet in the next. You're literally just going to do this all the way around until you get back to this side, and I'll meet back up with you. Okay, now we're coming up to the end here, and we still have one more to skip, so we're still going to chain that one, and then we are going to slip stitch into the top of that half double crochet. And my tapestry needle just pinged off the floor. Okay, now we are going to chain two again. We are going to half double crochet right back into there. Now the fun is going to begin. So we're going to chain one. We are going to be working in these chain spaces now. So the only single stitch you'll be doing is in this first one every single time, because that kind of builds it. So now we are going to go in here, pull up a loop. Now that stitch you skipped right below is where we're going next. So we're going to yarn over leave these loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through that stitch, bring up a loop. You want to tug on it just a little bit. And then we're going to jump over here, grab a loop, go right into that loop, pull up a loop. And now we are going to pull through this entire thing. Whoo, look at that. And we are going to chain one to close that off. Now, from here, you always start where you ended. So you're going to go in here first, because we got to work in that stitch down there. So we're going to yarn over and go through here first, pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through that stitch down below that we skipped, pull up a loop, make sure you give yourself a little leeway there. Yarn over, go through this next one, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all of it, chain one to close it off. See that already? Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. Yarn over, same one, go in, pull up a loop. Now we're going to go down below again, yarn over, go through that stitch, pull up a loop. Remember, leave yourself a little, because that's what's going to create this long stitch here. Yarn over and go through this next one here, pull up a loop, pull through all of them, chain one. So now that's what you're going to repeat for this row all the way around. I'll do it one more time with you guys. Yarn over, go through this same chain space that we just ended in, pull up a loop. Find that skip stitch below, if you can see it. Yarn over, go in there, pull up a loop. Yarn over, go into this next one, pull up a loop, pull through all the loops, chain one. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, we're coming up to the end here. Remember, we skipped this last one. This one we're not going to worry about, because we're going to finish off with these chains. So don't worry about this one. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to go into this one, finish off by going into that last chain, pull through all the loops, do your chain one, and we're still going to slip stitch to the top of that first half double crochet. Now this is where we're going to get a little crazy, and we're going to chain two to start off with, we are going to put that half double crochet into the first stitch. We are going to start, well, we're going to chain that one because this is where we start. This is where we always start. So this is where it gets a little crazy. Ready? When you yarn over, we're going to do the same thing, but see these spaces down here now? That's going to be that bottom thing, or the bottom stitch that you're going to reach down to. So we're going to always start in this first chain here. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Now directly below that, there's a space right here. You're going to yarn over, go through there, pull up a loop. Now jumping over to this chain one, you're going to go in, pull up a loop. There you go. There's that feather stitch. Chain your one. Now we've begun. Now we're going. So yarn over. Remember, same stitch you just ended in. Go in, pull up a loop. Yarn over. Directly below it, right here, you're going to go in there, pull up a loop. Go to the next chain, one space. Bring up that loop and then pull through all the loops. Chain one. I hope this is making sense because I really want you guys, and I want you to see something. Ooh, I'm all bunched up. See how it's bowing out already? Like this starts right from the beginning. It starts to bow out. So we're going to bring this up a bit before we start bringing it in. But you'll see when we get a little bit farther. But when we get up a little bit more, we're going to change hook size. But we're also going to start decreasing early, because we're going to bring it in little by little so that we get that rounded, like boho chic, shabby, you know, it's going to be beautiful. But you can see that it's bowing out already. And I just want to let you guys know, I don't edit my videos crazy because I want you to see the imperfections. I want you to see me screw up, because I never want anybody to feel like they're alone in screwing up. Believe me, I screw up all the time. And sometimes I look at what I'm doing and I'm like, did I forget how to crochet? I don't know. But that's the way my videos will probably always be. Even when I get better at making videos, you'll probably still see the imperfections. Because I've noticed that, like, I have a lot of YouTubers that even I follow that I like. And it never looks like they screw up ever. And there's no way. And even the one that I follow on her Facebook page, she's even said that she's not perfect, and it's all editing, because we all screw up. It's just the way it goes. So let me show you this one more time, and then we're gonna go. This is gonna be your repeat. I'm gonna go around one more. I'm gonna show you one more time, and then I'm gonna go around and come back one more time so I can show you one more time on the next row, and then I'm gonna leave you to it, where I'm gonna give you the amount of rows you need to do, and then we'll meet back up after that too. So remember, you're gonna start in the same stitch you ended with, or the same chain one space you ended in. Bring up a loop. Now directly below that is the previous chain one space, is what that is. You're going to yarn over, go in there and pull up a loop, jump to the next chain one, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull it through all of those chain one. I hope this is making sense, because I want you guys to enjoy this as much as I do. This hat turns out lovely. So do that row. We'll meet back up one more time. I'll be back. Okay, coming up on the end of this one, still remember, we've got this chain one here to work into. So we can do one more here. So don't forget to chain that one. Go into your last one, pull up a loop. Go in down here, pull up a loop. And then we're going to go, bam, in there. Pull through. I know it looks like it's kind of standing up or whatever. Make sure you chain that one. Go up here. Well, into the stitch. I will tell you, this yarn has beautiful colors, but it is not the easiest to work with. It really isn't. Okay, so see how that's turning out? I mean, is that beautiful or what? Okay, let's go over this one more time, and then I'm going to give you the amount of rows to do before we change hooks and start doing the next part. So we're going to half double crochet in that first stitch and chain 1. Now here we go. We're going to start right here. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to go right here, yarn over, pull up a loop, go right here, yarn over, pull up a loop. Chain your 1. Now it looks like we're adding a new stitch, but we're not, because you can see, because that's what it seems like, I think, at least. But if you see, they line up real nice. Now, another way you could do this is, instead of just going around and around, on every other row, you could turn your work. Still kind of works out the same way. It's just that I think these go back and forth instead of it being uniform like that. So that's another option too. Like I always say, it's your hat. I want you to do what makes you happy. So when you come up here and you chain your 2, instead of keep going, so like here you would have done one way, you would have flipped it, and then you would have been doing one more, and then on your next row, so you would turn it, and then you would start in the first chain going this way. You'd still do that first half double, but then you'd start in the first chain here and work your way back around this way, and then you flip it back this way. So it's kind of up to you. And I did my first one back and forth like that, where I did it so it was going back and forth. This one, I wanted to try something different, and I'm just going around and around, and I like the way it's looking, to be honest with you. The colors are so pretty in this. Okay, so let's go over it one more time, and then you guys are gonna do 13 rows of the same thing, and either the way I'm doing it or the going one way and then going the opposite way. It's up to you. You choose. So 13 of these rows. So you pulled up your loop, yarn over, go to that space right below it, pull up a loop, go into the next space, pull up a loop, pull it through, chain 1. So like I said, I want you guys to do 13 rows, and then we'll meet back up and we'll change hooks and we'll start bringing it in. Okay, welcome back. Now, I only did 10 rows because I'm trying to get this video uploaded for you guys, but I told you guys to do 13. You can do as many as you want, whatever you feel is what's going to work for you. But when you get the amount of rows you want, now we're going to start pulling it in a little bit. So you want to go back down to your hook that you used for the brim, and because this helps bring it in too. But we are going to do a little bit of decreasing. Whew. Okay, so what we're going to start with, we're going to do our chain 2, and we are going to still do our half double crochet right there and chain 1. Now to start with, we're going to do 2 regular of what we do, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're still going to go in this first chain 1 and pull up a loop, still going to go in this space and pull up a loop and go to the next one. So there's our first regular of what we've been doing, and chain 1. Now we're going to do that again. Go in that same spot you ended in, pull up a loop, go below, pull up a loop, next one, pull up a loop, finish it off, and chain 1. Now instead of starting in where we ended, we're going to jump to the next one, and we're going to start there. That's going to start pulling it in a little bit. So you pull up a loop, go below, go in the next, So that's the start of our first regular now. This is where we skipped. So now we're going to do one more. Go in the same, go below, go to the next, pull it through, chain one. So now we have 2 together. We're going to skip over one. We're not going to start where we ended. We're going to go to the next. Pull up a loop. Go below, pull up a loop. Oop. Go through the next, pull up a loop. Pull it through all of them. Chain one. So I hope that makes sense. So we're going to do one more together like normal. So you'll always be doing it like this. So as soon as you skip one, then you do 2. If that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. So let's go over that one more time. So we're going to skip over this since we've got the 2 here. We're going to skip and go to the next and pull up a loop. Go below, it's just like normal. We're just skipping one step because it brings it together a little bit. Chain one. Now because we have one little cluster, we're going to do one more. That makes our 2. Pull through all those loops. And now we have 2. So we're not going to start where we finished. We're going to jump over. And then do one more, and then skip, and then do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back up. Okay, coming around to the end here, it'll land you where you're doing 2 of the normals together. Remember that last chain over here. And then we're gonna slip stitch in that first half double. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to pull it in just a little bit, which is what we want. Now we're gonna do one row of just going around normally, like the other rows that we did. So you're gonna do one row of just going around normal. So you're gonna chain 2, put that half double crochet in there, and then you're gonna start in this chain 1, pull up a loop, go below, pull up a loop, go to the next, pull up a loop, and pull through all and chain 1. And then just continue around like you were on the other rounds. It's literally just a normal round now. We just brought it in a little bit, and now we're gonna do one normal round, and I'll meet you back. I wanted to show you one more thing. See, because we skipped this one spot here, we're gonna jump over here. We're gonna not worry about this space here. We're gonna go, when we start here, we're gonna come over here, pull up a loop, and then go to the next, because it keeps it together then. And this one's the one we skipped, so you want to go to that next one. Here, I'll show you one more time when we get over there. So see, we're going to go in here where we ended, and instead of going in this one, we're going to go over here to this one so that it keeps it in a line, and then the next. See how that keeps it? That's the one we skipped. I hope this is making sense. I really hope you guys can make this hat with me, because I know y'all enjoyed the picture of it, so I want you to enjoy making it too. So like I said, we're going to go in here, we're going to skip over this one, and we're going to jump right over to this one, pull up, go into the next one, and finish it off. And you can see the ones that we skipped, but we're not going to worry about those because that's where we're at now. You know, another thing is I mentioned in a couple of the other videos, I have a Facebook group called Curiosity Crochet also, and if anybody makes this hat, I would love to see them. If you want to pop over there and join the group and you can post your pictures of your hats that you make, because I would love to see everybody's hats. So finish that row around and then we'll meet back up. Okay, now that we've come around, you can see it real nice now. See how it bows out and then it starts coming back in a little bit. Now we're going to do another decrease. Bring it in a little bit more. We're going to do the same thing we did on the last decrease. So you're going to chain 2. You're going to do your half double crochet and chain 1. You're going to go in here, pull up a loop, go below, pull up a loop, go to the next, pull up a loop. You're going to do one more, the same. So you're going to start here where you finished, go below, go to the next, finish it off, chain 1. Now, just like before, instead of going back in here, we're going to skip ahead. We're going to go in here and do 2, 1, and then start at the right place, go below in this spot down here, go to the next, finish it off. So see, now you can see where you gapped. You have 2 together, and now you're going to gap again. So you're going to not start where you finished, go to the next, pull up a loop, go into that big gap, pull up a loop, go to the next, pull up a loop, and do one more right next to it. Pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop. And then you'll always be able to tell where your 2 are at because you can see the gaps. Oop, I moved a little bit. So you can see these 2 gaps and then the 2 together. So you'll always know what part you're at. So like here, now we're going to skip ahead again. Go below, go to the next, pull that all together. Okay, we're going to do that all the way around again, and I'll meet you back. Okay, coming back up around now, we're at our last one. We skipped here, and here's our first. So now we're going to go in here, right into where we ended, and do our last normal one. Chain 1, and slip stitch into that first half double. Now again, we're just going to go around and do 1 row of the normal way. No decreases on this round. We're just going to do chain 2, start with that half double, chain 1. We're going to jump right into here, pull up a loop, go below, pull up a loop, go to the next, pull up a loop, chain 1. Now we're going to go in here, pull up a loop, go below, go next, pull through all, chain 1. Now here's where I wanted to show you again. So this is where we skipped. So you're going to go in here, pull up a loop, and you're going to, don't worry about this one. You're going to go into this one over here so we can keep it all aligned and keep the one we skipped out of play. I hope that makes sense. So like you'll always be able to see where it's skipped, but it's not a huge gap or anything. So, and it pulls together nicely, if you can see that. Even if you do it opposite that I'm doing it, like if you went back and forth on the rows and did it the other way, it'll still do the same exact thing because you can see it on here. It works out the same exact way, and it turns out so pretty. I think this is gorgeous. These colors are beautiful. I mean, come on. Okay, so you're going to do the 1 regular row all the way around. Just remember, when you go below, skip this one and do the next one over, and you'll be just fine. I'll meet you back up after this row. Okay, now that we've finished that row, you can see it's coming together nicely, and see how I love the way this comes together like this. It just turns out so cute. So now we are going to do one more row of decrease. This is going to bring it in just a little bit more. See, mine looks pretty short still, but you, like I said, you guys can do as many rows as you want. And if you want it to be a shorter looking one that just hits the top of your ears, I mean, I want this to be whatever you want it to be. So, in this area here, do as many rows as you want to. You can try this hat as many times as you want. So we're going to chain that 2 again and still start with our half double. Chain 1. Now this time, we're just going to do 1 regular one. Instead of 2, we're going to do 1 and we're going to skip ahead. And now we're going to skip ahead. Instead of putting 2 together now, we're just skipping ahead. Because we're right at the end of this now, you guys. We're in the home stretch. Let's get situated here. So we're going to skip ahead. We're going to just do 1 at a time now and skip over. Okay, and then after this, you're going to do the 1 regular row around, and then we'll meet back up, okay? Okay, I'm coming up to the end of that 1 regular row, and just like before, you still want to do that last one in this chain here. Whoa, don't forget to go below like I just did, because then that keeps it in line, and then there you go. Close that off. Now, if you want to be done, you can be done and just cinch this up. But I'm going to do one more little... I like making the hole pretty small. I just think it cinches up nicer. So I'm just going to do a row of single crochet decreases around. Just 1 row of single crochet 2 together. So that's just go into 1 stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 of those. So I'm just going to do that once around, just to pull it together just a little bit more. And then we are going to cinch up and be all done with our boho chic hat. And it sits so nice, looks so pretty. And then there's just 1 stitch left, so we'll do 1 single crochet. And we will slip stitch. And then I like going like this. See how it's on the outside here? I'm going to go into the next stitch over. I'm going to grab the loop from this side and I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to chain my 1. So then it's on the inside. Now leave yourself some string to cinch it. I mean, if you left it a small hole like me, you don't really need that much, but I'm a little excessive. And if you're not putting a pom-pom on, which this kind of hat, I don't think you really, I mean, it's up to you. You could always put a pom-pom on, but you can do it. I always turn it inside out, no matter what. Look at how cute that is. Can you guys see that? Look at that. Oh, look at that. Anyways, I always pull it inside out to cinch it just because I think it looks better. And I'm not going to put a pom-pom on this, so. And then you just cinch it up. I'll show you how I do it. I mean, if you guys have your own ways, by all means, do however you would like. But I go in to the stitch here and come back out the next stitch. And then jump into the next two. Jump into the next two. If I could get situated here. And just do that until you get back to the beginning. Which is right here. And then pull it tight. And then I just go back and forth a couple times across one way, across the opposite way. Ooh. So sorry, you guys, I hit the... And then I'm just going to go back through one way this way. And I'm going to go through this yarn, this loop here. Just to make a little bit of a knot. And then I'm going to hide my... Now, if I was going to put a pom-pom on, I don't know how you guys attach pom-poms, but I leave this string. And when I pull the pom... Like, if I'm making a pom-pom... Because if I do a fur one, I don't do this because I have different methods for that. But if I'm making a pom-pom out of yarn and I'm going to pull the string through, then I tie those two strings together and then hide the tails. But since I'm not putting a pom-pom on this one, I'm just going to hide this in and cut it off. And I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me hide my tail, so because I'm sure you know how to do that. So, yeah, that is a cute little hat. I love the way it bows. So we've got these two. This one is a little bit bigger than this one. And Red Heart Unforgettable tends to be different thickness. So, like, this one was a little thinner than this one. I mean, I love the yarn. It's just so odd how it's different every time. But they both turned out pretty similar. They just different colors, and one's a little smaller. I'll probably give this to one of my nieces. They're little still. And this one can be worn by an adult. It's just, it sits more at the back of your head, top of the ear kind of thing. So like I said, you guys can make them whatever sizes you want. Don't forget to check out Curiosity Crochet on Facebook. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this hat. I hope it's easy to make. I hope you make many. You guys enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next tutorial.